Hello everyone. I'm going to go over two commands here that are also widely used in the daily routine of anyone working with Linux. Certainly, if you work with Oracle databases on Linux, at some point you're going to need to use one of these two commands, okay? Or even both commands, right? So the first command is the find command. This command, as the name suggests, is used to search for files within a directory or its subdirectories. And the other command is the grep command, which searches for content within a file, right? So how does the find command work, for example? Basically, you provide the path where you want to search for a file, either directly by name or using wildcards, right? So starting from that directory, it will search according to the parameter you provided to see if there is any file inside. Many times you're lost and you don't know where you put a certain file. You know its name actually starts with log, or that somewhere within the name there's a particular character you distinctly remember, but you don't quite remember exactly where you put it, in which specific directory, right? Or you remember which directory it's in, and that directory might have thousands of files, and you'd like to find it more easily, or search from there in that directory and all its subdirectories. So how are you going to use the command? It's very simple. You're going to run the find command, specify the location where you want to search, the part of the location where you want to look for a certain file. Then use the option .name and in quotes put the full name of the file if you know it, or use wildcards, right? I know the file starts with log and it doesn't matter what comes after, so you'll use an asterisk. So if I type this command here, right click the mouse, right? Control C, select the block, right click the mouse, it copies. If you run this command, it's found here in the home directory two files, right, that start with log, okay? Log clone txt and log clone bat, right? If I wanted to search for files that start with log from the root, that is in all directories starting from the root, I just need to type find root and it will start searching in all directories from the root to see if there are files that start with log. So here it is, look, this file that starts with log, okay? This one starts with log no matter what comes after in different directories. And what if I want to search for files where I don't know the prefix? Okay, I know that some part of the file name has, for example, the word gin. So I'm going to put asterisk gin asterisk. It doesn't matter what comes before, it doesn't matter what comes after. I remember that the file has some part of it that starts that has gin written in it. Where is it? I'm going to have it search starting from the root, okay? And then it will search in all directories looking for files that have that name, right? So it found here files that have gin in the name. Here it is, look, gin, here in the look, gin. It doesn't matter what comes before, it doesn't matter what comes after, in all directories starting from the root, right? Another interesting command is the use of these two arrows, okay? This will also help us with the next feature, which is the grep command. So many times we create a file, or there's already an existing file, and we want to add a line at the end of the file. How do we do that? We use these two arrows here, look. So for example, I'm going to create a new file here, look, with the touch command, right? And you know that this way the file has no content. The file exists. If you run a cat on the file, it was created in this directory, but it doesn't have any content, okay? There's nothing inside it. So I can, using the echo command and whatever is precisely inside the quotes, I can effectively put some text, and then using the double arrow, I am going to append this particular text inside the file I just created. So if I execute this particular command, I have successfully appended the specified content that was enclosed within the quotation marks directly into this designated file, thereby modifying its contents. To check, I run the cat command. Here it is, look. this text was just created inside this file. If I run it again, a new line will be created inside the file, another line. Okay, look, 2 lines. See, at the end of the file, go ahead and run this command here as well. Let's create another file and include this text here. See, notice that it's different from the previous text inside the new file. Okay, so inside this directory, I now have 2 files with different contents, right? So if I run an ls, both files are created here inside. And this leads us to the next command, which is the grep command. The grep command is also widely used when you need to search for specific content inside files. Okay, so for example, if I want to search, imagine you have a very large text, a very large configuration parameters file, and you want to find the particular parameter inside it. You don't want to have to read the entire file. So you'll use the grep command, specify the parameter you want to search for, and indicate which file to search in. So let's do this. Let's search for the word linear inside this file we just created. We created it and added a line inside it. So it's going to search for this specific word here using the grep command. And here, it already found it. It found inside this file, new file, 2 lines that we added with the word linha, okay? It even highlighted it here in red, right? If you wanted to search for a word recursively in all files, starting from a directory, for example, you just need to use this isr option here. So with this isr option, it will search recursively in all files starting from the directory you specified. It could be the root directory, for example. So it will start searching, and sometimes this can take a long time depending on how many files you have, okay? So it will search for this word here starting from home. Remember that we have 2 files created with different contents. So look here, I ran it and it found it. It found it. Okay? Line in this is seen this file. So inside this file here, look, new file, txt has these 2 lines, and it also found the word linha inside the other file we created, okay? Which has this content here, look, linha de texto 2, which are exactly the 2 files we created earlier in our lesson, okay? grep is a very interesting tool, and you can even combine the find command with the grep command. So you could, for example, you could use find together with grep. So if you were to carefully run this particular command here, it will meticulously search inside the entire home directory for all files with a specific extension of asterisk.txt, okay? And inside the various txt files, utilizing the powerful grep command, it will also meticulously search for the specific word lina, okay? So if you run this command, this is what you get. It found the files that are txt, and inside the txt files, inside the asterisk.txt type, search for lina, right? If the word linha existed inside the .bat file, it wouldn't show up, because here it's a combination of a search that's done using the grep command, which is searching for the word linha here, but only inside the asterisk.txt files, right? Which are inside the home directory. Okay,